I was trapped in an apartment fire, and I was asleep, and I felt something punch me. And when I got up, I just heard people screaming. I heard people beating on the walls, and then I looked down, and smoke was coming out of the ground. And in my mind, I was like, one of two things is going on: either the rapture came and I got left behind, or my apartment in this building is on fire. And then my feet started burning, and I was like, oh shoot, good. Now that I look at, I don't understand how I went to school full time, worked a full time job, and when I got off of work, I would go to clubs three times a week. All of them went regular clubs. The other ones was the ones with
Okay.
those other ones. Yeah. So because that was the music I was making. I was making those anthems. You know what I'm saying? So
like the new Star show P Valley. You're making the soundtrack to P Valley.
If that's what you want to call it, yeah. It was the soundtrack to
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're going to all those clubs. All right.
That, and I mean, just that atmosphere, you know what I'm saying? I still wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking anything, but the
environment,
and when you making that type of music, you get into that type of stuff. So without saying to say, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So then what brought you ultimately back to Christ?
Apartment fire. I was trapped in an apartment fire, and I was asleep, and I felt something punch me. And when I got up, I just heard people screaming. I heard people beating on the walls, and then I looked down, and smoke was coming out of the ground. And in my mind, I was like, one of two things is going on: either the rapture came and I got left behind, or my apartment in this building is on fire. And then my feet started burning, and I was like, oh shoot, good, it's on fire.
It's not the rapture. Okay.
Look, I rather the latter than the former. Shoot. Yes. Who want to be left behind? I'm like, this Kirk Cameron thing about to pop off. So then in that moment, that's when it happened. I prayed. I was like, Lord, if you get me out of this, I'll serve you. And he did. He kept up his end of his bargain, and I kept mine. So I left my job. I had a thing with Sony and BMG. I was working on. I was working on with a gospel label too, which is ironic because I wasn't doing gospel at the time. Here's when sin does something to the mind, right? So I was doing everything that I was telling you, right? But every day I'm still reading a Bible verse. I'm still reading, what was it? Psalms, I think 112, and just saying it in my car because I'm still alone. I'm still when I was in college, I didn't live on campus. You know what I'm saying? That's the one I lived by myself. I had my own spot, so I could do whatever I wanted to do. But even in this time, just thinking about it, I'm still praying. I'm still I know I'm not doing God's will, but I still don't want to die in my sins. You know what I'm saying? It was so warped, and just looking over everything that we're talking about, I could just say that God's favor just been on my life the entire time. From everything I've done, even up to today, I just see the faithfulness and the favor of God in my life. Just God's hand on me. Just when I didn't want it, it was there. When I needed it, was there. And a lot of it I couldn't see at the time, and it was still there.
Yeah, I mean, it was his hand that punched you when you were asleep during an apartment fire, right?
Right. I thought it was an angel because the punch was hard. I know it wasn't it wasn't.
Ow,
right. Right. It wasn't like I can be like, oh, that was a fluke. No, I got hit, and then I that's because I jumped up and looked around like somebody up in here. Do I have to, you know what I'm saying? What's happening in that? It was like a punch in the arm, and it was real, you know? And it was so much, I could say it was so much miraculous stuff that has been happening in my life.